गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन. My cupboard, there is that book. Yamunatiravanachari. Can you open the door of the closet? You can find the book.
In your room downstairs.
Yamunatiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. जहाँ विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतश्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय. जहाँ विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतश्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य श्रीलदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोविंद श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय. वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय. मायपुर नवदीप धाम की जय. गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय. भक्ति देवी की जय. श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्री दामोदर मास की जय. श्री राधा दामोदर भगवान के जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद के जय. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामिनित नामिने. Okay. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. We're fortunate enough to read from Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, chapter entitled Questions by King Parikshit. Text number 9. Shloka 9. Ajaha srajati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat dadrishe yena tadrupam nabhi padma samudbhavaha. Aja srajati bhutani aja srajati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat bhutatma yad anugrahat dadrishe yena tadrupam dadrisheyena tadrupam nabhi padma samudbhavaha nabhi padma samudbhavaha. Aja srajati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat tadrisheyena tadrupam nabhi padma samudbhavaha. Ajja srajati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat dadrisheyena tadrupam nabhi padma samudbhavaha. Please repeat. Aja srajati bhutani bhutat drishyena tadrupam nabi padma samudbhavaha aja srajati bhutani bhutatma yadanugrahat drishyena tadrupam nabi padma samudbhavaha aja srajati bhutani bhutatma yadanugrahat drishyena aja srajati bhutani yadanugrahat tadrishyena tadrupam nabi padma samudbhavaha. Matajis? aja srajati bhutani bhutatma yadanugrahat tadrishyena tadrupam padma samudbhavaha. Whatever meaning, translation and purport by His divine grace, Srila Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ke Jai. Whatever meaning, Ajaha, one who is born without a material source. Srijati, creates. Bhutani, all those materially born. Bhuta Atma, having a body of matter. Yat, whose. Anugrahat, by the mercy of. Dadrishe, could see. Yena, by whom. Tadrupam, his form of body. Nabhi, navel. Okay, you said navel. Okay, navel. Okay, sorry. Padma, lotus flower. Samudbhavaha, being born of. Translation. Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the lotus flower, coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. Purport. The first living creature, Brahma, is called Ajaha because he did not take his birth from the womb of a mother materially born. He was directly born from the bodily expansion of the lotus flower of the Lord. Thus, it is not readily understandable whether the body of the Lord and that of Brahma are of the same quality or different. This must be clearly understood. One thing is, however, certain. Brahma was completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord because after his birth, he could create living beings by the Lord's grace only. And he could see the form of the Lord. Whether the form seen by Brahma is of the same quality as that of Brahma is a bewildering question. And Maharaj Parikshit wanted to get clear answers from Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurah Shri Utapatakalam Shri Guran Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagananita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nitanamani Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta Pravishya Mama Vacha Mimam Prasuttam Sanjivayatya Akhila Shakti Dharasvadhamna Anyamscha Hasta Charana Shravanatvagadin Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tobhyam Agatika Gatim Natva Hinarthatika Sadhakam Mukam Karati Vachalam Bangalam Langayati Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gunadhirataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadale Krishnaye Krishna Bhaktaye Tad Bhaktaye Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. Then get okay, fine. No problem. That's okay. That's okay. So we are reading the chapter of Canto 2, questions by Maharaj Parikshit, chapter 8. So Maharaj Parikshit is eagerly asking the questions which are very, very relevant for the every human being to ask. But we don't know what to ask, so on behalf of us, he is asking and giving us intelligence what sort of questions one should ask. So from shloka number 7, we have read 7, 8, and today we are reading 9, and it goes on till 22nd shloka. So many questions, one by one, Maharaj Parikshit is going to ask. The position of living entities, the position of the Supreme Lord, incarnations, their activities, how he has created this material world, how creatures are coming to being, how incarnations of Lord incarnates, how in the human societies occupational duties are being conducted, what is the ultimate realization, what is the basic knowledge, difference between body and soul, difference between body, soul and the Supreme Lord. So many questions. And today, in one sense, he is asking the question about about Brahma, the position of Lord Brahma. And he's saying that Maharaj Parikshit is saying, indicating Lord Brahma as Ajaha. Ajaha means one who is born without a material source. He is indicating to Brahmaji. So Brahmaji is born from the navel, belly button they say here, navel. I was surprised once, first time to hear that belly button. It's like a button, try to type a switch or a button. So he's born from the belly button. Everybody has a belly button, but the Supreme Lord's belly button is the source of all material and spiritual. I don't know whether you observed or not, everybody observes. Actually, there is so much of dirt in the belly button. But the Supreme Lord is fully spiritual, and from him even matter can come. But the source is not matter. Even matter, spirit, everything can come. So the Supreme Lord, from his navel, Ajaha, who is unborn. Brahma is called Ajaha. Supreme Lord is also called Ajaha. And even the living entities are called Ajaha. The Jivas are called Ajaha. Najayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva na bhavita na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano. So Ajaha, this Aja is even referred to as the Jivas are called as the Ajaha. He was also called as Ajaha. Because there is no time. Najayate mriyate va kadachin. What is that? That's okay. Bhutana Bhavita. The first shloka wherein Krishna begins the second chapter explanation of all this. What is that? Before Dehinasmi Nathasheshla. No. After that. Natvevaham dhatu nasam natvam neme janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve mayam atah param. He's speaking about the soul, that he was there previously, he's there now, and he is going to exist. And his existence will continue even in the spiritual world as well, and defeating the Mayavadis. So here Brahma is called Ajaha. And Brahma, this word, Brahma means great. Even Vedas, which come from the four mouths of the Brahma, this is called as the Shabda Brahma. They are called also Brahma. And this whole material world is also called sometimes Brahma. And there is a person called Brahma who has 4 heads. Sometimes they say that he has 5 heads, and Shiva, in other Puranas it is said that Shiva, with his Trishul, because he was chasing his daughter, so he destroyed 1 head. So he has 4 heads now. But Brahma has many other Brahmas. This is Chaturmukha Brahma. There are Koti Mukha Brahmas are also there. So there are so many Brahmas. So this Brahmanda is considered as the most smallest that Brahma could see when he came to Dwaraka to meet Lord Krishna. And he said, you tell that Brahma has come. And Krishna is asking, which Brahma? Then Krishna has to show this small Brahma about all other Brahmas. So Brahma is Ajaha, and he is Srajati. It is said Brahmas Ajas Srajati Bhutani. One is born from the Srajati, creates Bhutani, all those materially born. Brahma, who was not born of material source but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are material born. Here is the revelation. All other Abrahamic religions and everybody is saying that God is the creator, but Srimad Bhagavatam says God is not the real creator. Brahmaji is the creator. Is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, Lord is the creator, but he is not directly involved. Of course, he is directly involved in a different way, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom we consider as Bhagavan, who we address as Bhagavan, who is referred in the all the Vedic scriptures. Yad advaitam brahmopanishadi tadapyasya tanubha. What is next? Ya atma anantaryami purusha iti swamsa vibhavaha shadaishwarya purno hi bhagavan swayam vayam na chaitanyat krishna jagati paratatvam paramiha. This is the definition of Bhagavan given by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the 3rd verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 1st chapter. So, is it the 3rd verse? 3rd or 2nd? 3rd. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan, Vande Shri Krishna, the 3rd verse. So this is the Supreme Lord who is dancing, who is a cowherd boy, who is dancing with the cows, playing with the cowherd boys, and he is not at all bothered what is happening. His Purusha avatars are doing it. Brahmaji is doing it. So, what is that? What is the Parasha Shakti? How does it start? Parasha Shakti Vividhaiva Shriyate. That's okay. Natasya karyam karanancha vidyate natas samas adikaschadi drishyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriya. Parasha Shakti Vividhaiva Shriyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriya cha. So it is swabhaviki jnana bala kriya. So when God wants to create, God thinks, that's all. Supreme Personality of Godhead thinks, He wants to create, that's all. Everything gets manifested. Sa aikshati, He glances. Sa ichhati, sa aikshati. He just thinks in his mind that, oh, I want to create. Because so many jivas want to enjoy in this material world. So, aikshati, he sees the material nature, that's all. The whole material existence comes into existence. And the whole thing As Prabhupada writes, it is very, very difficult to understand. It's it's like, this whole thing. What is that? Actually, from this we can get to understand that it is very difficult to understand how this everything comes into picture. As Prabhupada writes in the first line, the first living creature, Brahma, is called Aja because he did not take his birth from the womb of a mother materially born. This statement itself is mind-boggling, so fantasy, so much, it's very difficult to comprehend for the jiva. In this material, to understand something is born out of a navel without a mother. How is that possible? And those people who had little bit of doubts, they coined a word called mythology. So this is very difficult to understand. So it is very easy to keep in a box called a myth. These are all cock and bull stories. This is called English. I heard these are cock and bull stories. Cock and bull. There are so many cock and bull even in Vedic scriptures also. It's like what is that? What is that? Akasha Pushpa. Akasha Pushpa means the flower in the sky. Phantasmagoria. What is that? Willow the wisp. Yeah, willow the wisp. So phantasmagoria. This looks like a phantasmagoria. It's like another. This one is that. What is that? Gadhe Kanda. What is that? The egg of a donkey. Egg of a donkey, how is that possible? So it is not possible. Or rabbit's horns. Or so these are inconceivable things. So they think they put the same thing on the they put the same mind on the Supreme Lord, on the nature of the Supreme Lord, on the qualities of the Supreme Lord, on the devotees of the Supreme Lord. That how is that possible? That first living creature is Brahma and is unborn. He is taking birth, and you are saying is Ajaha, and is born of not from the womb of mother. And how is that possible? And he was directly born from the bodily expansion of lotus flower of the Lord. So these all statements, reading these statements, one will be become very skeptical. That's why in the Vedic culture, first of all, the understanding is given regarding the Achintya Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In any of the sampradaya, actually Vedic culture it is there, but apart from Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya, all other sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya emphasizes more on the Achintya Shakti, on the Achintya quality of the Supreme Personality of God. Unless and until one understands the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot understand what is the Lord's name, form, qualities, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Vaishidya, and Parshad, and Dhama. It is very difficult to understand, very difficult to even begin the spiritual life, even to start with. That we can understand, even from the basic things which we see all around. We can take our own body itself, our body which is full of heavy complication. It is very difficult to understand how there is bone system, on that there is muscle, on that there is nervous system, there's the whole brain, the eyes. It's the most complicated thing, how the brain system is working, how I'm going to this because I'm having this pain here, the inflammation in the joint. So for me itself it is very difficult to comment how, because the same hand here it is not paining and it is paining and it is saying inflammation and I don't see anything on the top. It's most inconceivable thing, and if I press there is pain. How that pain is there? And the doctor, what he did, this acupuncture, he presses certain acupoints. These are called as acupoints. And when he presses that, there is a numbness all over the body. And if I move my little bit of my leg, there is a pain generated from my legs to my hand. It's so paining. And it is inconceivable for me, how is this happening? How just a small pin, he's just pin pricking, just a small pin, he's just put. And when he's pricking, it's so painful. And after that it is not painful. Oh, it's so relaxing. But there is a current being passed from there to my hand, to my brain, to my heart, and the whole body is in a different state of existence. How all things is going on? It's very difficult to conceive. Even for him to explain me, it is very difficult to conceive. And I was asking him, why are you doing here? I'm asking him n number of questions, and he's saying, he's saying me, don't ask questions, take rest. And I'm asking him, why are you doing here? My inflammation is here. Why are you doing here? And he's saying, I am doing anti-inflammation. What is this? Antivirus. So anti-inflammation. So anti, you say anti. Anti. So he is doing opposite way. That is that you do a sin, there is a prayaschitta for that, atonement for that. This is prayasa, because chitta is not shuddhi, so out of this is so much of vigorous, this one you do some prayaschitta so that at least some relief to your mind, intelligence will be there. So this Vedic scriptures also give. So unless and until the student of who is eager to know the great concepts, a great understanding of what is the Supreme Lord, who we are, why we are here in this material world, why the living entities take different bodies in different how there are so many worlds, why a living entity gets a body of a dog, a cat, this, that. So just by seeing, just by observing, just by going on studying various living entities, that's what Charles Darwin did. He traveled all over the world, tried to comprehend, to see various living entities and study how their nose is, how their beaks are, how their eyes are, how their tail is, how their feet are, how their bodily transformation is, and try to figure it out and then come to a conclusion that this bird is like this bird's beak is like this, that bird's neck is like this. So we will go on. This is called as in Vedic is called as, what is that? Speculation, of course. What is it in Sanskrit called? Because I was told at 6 o'clock, so I couldn't prepare it, so it came. It's speculation. This whole thing is called speculation, but what is it called in Sanskrit? Yes. This is called as Avaroha Pantha. There are two types of paths. This is Avarohana and Arohana. So Avarohana means we try to understand the whole. If you go to a little bit ahead this side, the whole we can, this Avarohana and Avarohana Pantha can be put in every aspect of religion. Even it may be Sri Vaishnavism, even it may be Gaudiya Vaishnavism, or it may be Abrahamic religion as well. How is that? So even in scientific world also. So the scientific world, what try to do? It's called as science. Science means you observe such things. There is a phenomenon. You try to observe it, and then you try to, based on various observations, permutations, combinations, and all those things, you try to derive certain conclusion and try to fix it. There is a problem. Birth is a problem, death is a problem, this is a problem. The whole scientific world is trying to answer various problems of this world. And then they try to invent or discover so many things. So, that's sorry to become so much haphazard because so many things are coming into my brain. I'm not trying to, it's unable to keep it in very systematic manner. So the point is, the whole scientific world tries to understand, but this by Avarohan Patha, one tries to understand through his dint of knowledge, through his intelligence, through his mind. But one forgets that one has this imperfect senses. What is that? Bhram pramada vipralipsa. Bhram. One's senses are prone to illusion. Because they are imperfect, they are prone to illusion. And because you are in illusion, you try to cheat. And because you are in illusion, you try to commit a lot of mistakes. And because to cover that mistakes, you try to cheat. So this is the basic understanding that a jiva is conditioned by these 4 defects. By this conditioned nature, one cannot understand which is ava manasa gocharam, which is that thing we are saying thing, but it's not a thing, that which that's why it is called in scriptures, that is achintya kaluye bhava nachas tarkena yojayet prakriti yah param yaccha tat achintyasya lakshanam. So the lakshana, the quality of that, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or absolute truth is achintya, it is inconceivable. What is that? Anything transcendental material nature is called inconceivable, whereas arguments are all mundane. So through mundane way, through mundane logic, is just like one fails to understand. There is an example given in the Vedic scriptures, or many acharyas say, it's coming through parampara, that 6 blind men or n number of blind men try to understand. They have not seen. Of course, blind men cannot see. They don't know what is an elephant looks like. They don't know what is an elephant is, and you can't explain to him. And he tries to catch the parts of elephants in various ways. It is said that if a blind man catches the part of the trunk, he thinks the whole elephant is like a tree. What is that? Not tree. It is like a snake. It catches the trunk. He thinks that it is like a snake. And if he catches if he holds the tusks, he thinks what is it said? He thinks it is some some bone or something like that. If he catches if he holds if he holds the legs of the elephant, he thinks the elephant is it's like a tree trunk. So in this way, the blind man can go on speculating through his avarohana. His avarohana? Yes, avarohana pantha, or the path of speculating through his mind and intelligence. For billions of years, one cannot come to a conclusion of understanding what really an elephant is. So in the same way, that's why it is said as Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, is called Adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means Adhakrita Akshaja Jnanam iti. Adhakrita Akshaja Jnanam iti Adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means Adhakrita Jnanam. Adhakrita Akshaja Jnanam. That means Adhakrita means the one wants to see through his eyes. Akshaja, through his eyes, is cut. Adhakrita Akshaja Jnanam. One wants to know the Supreme Lord through his eyes, through his ears. So that's why in the spiritual, one who wants to seek spiritual life, wants to understand the Supreme Lord, it's for those people who wants to understand. One who wants to put forward a challenging way, one can never understand in this material world. What is what? Even to understand material things, one has to be humble. What to speak of which is of a higher nature. One has to be more humble. One has to be. That's why vidya dadati vinayam. In the spiritual, there is one proverb in Sanskrit is called as Vidya Dadati Vinayam. One who is having knowledgeable, he is actually more humble. It is given example of a tree filled with a lot of fruits, which is always it's always lies down. See a tree which is filled with a lot of fruits, it bows down. But a tree which doesn't have fruits, it spreads so much. So one who is having vidya, real vidya, not avidya, is paravidya. Vidya, at least it is. He is humble. That's why until and unless one is humble, the knowledge is not imparted. There are many stories in Hitopadesh, in Mahabharata, how the disciple, one who comes to in Mahabharata, in many Upanishads, so many disciples or people come to spiritual masters and they want to know the spiritual knowledge. It may be Dhanurvidya, it may be any Vedic knowledge for that matter, or Paravidya or material knowledge. They come to the spiritual master and want to know, and spiritual master tests them in various ways to make them straight, to make them understand that this is not the way to understand. You have to be humble, you have to be submissive. Tadvidhi pranipadena. That's why Krishna says panipat, prakrishta rupena nipat iti pranipat. Nipat means the humble, prakrishta rupena. Specifically, fully one has to be humble, then that knowledge can be imparted. Tadvidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya. Even the Shaolin monks, even in Shaolin temple, they are being tested, and although it is doesn't they don't have any spiritual knowledge for that matter, even to learn the Shaolin art, they are being tested in various ways. To take the water, heavy weight of water in this one, to be on one leg in the hot sun, in the icy water, in the midst of fire. So they are being tested a lot to give the knowledge. But we come to Krishna consciousness very nicely eating so much of prasadam, no austerity whatsoever. But people get disturbed so much by the class, just by the class. Just by speaking, people get disturbed and they just go away. Just by words, nothing else. The whole, even you can, if you tolerate just the words, then automatically so much can be attained. But they don't have that tolerance. So people in this material world, they are that's why it is upadrataha. They cannot tolerate. They don't have that humbleness. This is the main quality of Kali Yuga, is that not to have humble, not to be tolerant. So to understand, that's why Brahmaji, who is the creator, he says, Jananta eva janantu kim bahuktya name Prabhu manaso vapuso vacho vaibhavam tava gochara. It is very difficult, tava gochara, it is very difficult to understand your this one. Brahmaji, here it is said, of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord. He saw the form of the Lord. When he saw the form of the Lord as a Chaturbhuj, as a four-handed form of the Lord. But he was little bit bewildered. Madhvacharya will not accept this. Srila Madhvacharya will say that there is nothing like Brahma Vimohan Leela and Brahma got bewildered with his daughter. These two stories for Madhvacharya doesn't exist at all. Madhvacharya is very much against if you say that Brahma is got bewildered. But we see Sukadeva Goswami says that Brahmaji got bewildered. He see that how he is holding the curd rice, yogurt rice in his left hand. Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And what is this? He's dancing, he's running, what is that? He's taming the cows. What is this? A cowherd boy? And he's killing Aghasura, just before Brahmaji comes and sees, he killed Aghasura. Such a big snake. What is this? And in order to test Krishna, he took away the boys, the calves, everybody. Acharyas state that just like one cannot touch the spiritual energy of the Lord, just like Sita Devi, Ravana didn't touch what is that, Kurma Brahmana or Murari Gupta? Who was disturbed? Kurma Brahmana. Kurma Brahmana were very much disturbed, thinking, oh, Ravana touched my mother Sita and he taken away, Haran, he was abducted Mother Sita, he touched Mother Sita, and he was so much crying, and Mahaprabhu came and he quoted from Kurma Puran stating that no, don't get people, don't try. Mother Sita cannot be touched by the demon Ravana. It is the Maya Sita. It is another place called Vaidehi. She was praying for those so many other stories are there. But the point is that it is Maya Sita. It is not the Sita which was taken by Ravana. So the same way Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, it is not the boys which are taken by Brahmaji. Krishna had created another set of Maya Gopas and all those calves and all that Brahmaji has taken, and Krishna kept these boys in different place, and Krishna expanded himself into boys and calves, and he enacted the whole pastime of Brahma Vimohan Leela. And then he has to say, he has to teach Brahmaji a lesson. I got a little bit bewildered. So, Manaso Vapucho Vaso, one cannot understand through Manasa and through words, and Vapu means words? Vapu means mind? Service. Or actually body. One cannot understand through mind, through words, or through body. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Vaibhavam Tavagocharam. That is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10:40 that, what does he say? Just I wanted to read that. Bhagavad Gita 10:40, where he is explaining about about his own opulences. So Krishna has explained all the opulences, and in 40th shloka, 40, he says, O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. So it is Supreme Personality of Godhead's opulences are so infinite. It is said even in the Bhagavatam, many places, and many devotees say that one can be so scientific and so much intelligent enough, so much expert enough to count all the granules of sand. The granules of the sand are so small. He can count all the granules of the sand. He can count all the planets. How many planets are there? He can count. He can count so many, all the leaves of this world. There are kings. Nala and went to one king who knows how to count the leaves. In 1 second he can count. There are so many people who can read the whole book whole page within 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and they can tell. They are fastest readers, fastest writers. But they may be so fast, but they cannot count even Supreme Lord himself cannot count his own opulences, own qualities, because as soon as one tries to count, it becomes multifold, infinitesimal. It becomes more and more, it increases like anything. It becomes more and more infinite. And next, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says, know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creation spring but a spark of my splendor. What is Yadyat Vibhuti Mat Sattvam Srimad Urjitam Evava Tattad Evava Gacchantvam Mama Tejomsa Sambhavam. So it is very difficult to understand. So that means we should forget. So as the Abrahamic religions say that we should not ask questions, we should not think you cannot question because God is great, Allahu Akbar, God is great, so we should not ask. So to the extent the Supreme Personality of Godhead explains his own opulences, his own qualities, his own names, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, about the material, about the spiritual world, to that extent one should try, put his mind, intelligence, received from Acharyas, received from the Guru Parampara, and try to understand. One cannot understand Supreme Lord fully. At least As Brahmaji says, I cannot know, because he is the creator, he is saying. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a verse which says, you can pull it up, Adi Leela 127. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 7. It is Lord Chaitanya and 5 features. 127, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1 second. What the translation says? If there is such inconceivable potency in material objects, why should we not believe in the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So this is a very good argument. Those who say that I am not able to understand, I am skeptical, I am agnostic, I don't know, but you see so much of inconceivability even in this material world, even in this body. Even Charles Darwin had to accept that the eye, which is, of course, he says that the eye with all its absurdity, with all its this one, it's very how is that it has come out of natural phenomena, and then further he says yes, it could come from the natural phenomenon, and it goes on explaining that how I also could come from this material eye, also could come from random selection and these all things, but it is not so. So the argument of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described in this verse can be very easily understood even by a common man if he simply thinks of the activities of the sun. Here the example is given of the sun, Prabhupada gives, which has been giving off unlimited amounts of heat and light since time immemorial, and yet has not even slightly decreased in power. It is said, even by the scientists, that one ray of sun could produce so much of heat and light that the whole mankind for billions and billions of years couldn't produce. That much of heat and light one ray of sun produces. Even the sun, which so-called scientists say it is just bursting of helium gases and volcanic eruptions, but it is that the Krishna didn't go that all the way to the sun planet where there is so much of helium gases. There is a planet we cannot understand, but we can understand through the material example that the so many living entities. Prabhupada could defeat, as yesterday what is that? Kalki Prabhu was saying that Srila Prabhupada, by one statement, he could defeat the whole scientific world. He could say that how there are so many species, they are living in the water, there are so many species in the air, there are so many species on the land, how they are living. We didn't do research and go and see the whole world. What is your intelligence? Where have you gone to all the you have traveled all over the world and seen all over the world, species all over the world? No, you didn't see. How could you come to the conclusion that man came from monkey, or our ancestors were monkeys, or this species after this species, this evolved into this species? So it's all speculation. So Prabhupada is further concerned. Modern science believes that it is by sunshine that the entire cosmic manifestation is maintained. And actually one can see, Prabhupada explained about modern science, how they are explaining about the sun. And actually one can see how the actions and reactions of sunshine maintain order throughout the universe. Yes, the growth of the vegetables and even the rotation of the planets take place due to the heat and light of the sun. Not only sun, the heat, the growth, and what is that? The growth and duration. The growth of the vegetable, that even the rotation of the planets takes place due to the heat and light of the sun. And due to the light of the moon, the vegetables get the juice, the herbs get that shakti. How Triphala becomes, how the amla, the sourness in the amla is different, the sourness in the kokum is different, the sourness in the tamarind is different, the sourness is the bibli. There is a fruit called bibli or something, which is the most sour fruit. In that, how the sourness comes from, how the sourness of so the different types of sourness are there. Different types of sweets are there in every. The sweetness in the banana is different. The sweetness in the pomegranate is different. The sweetness in the mango is different. The sweetness of each and every fruit is different. Some flowers are very tasty to eat it. There is a flower called shankha. It looks like the shankha pushpa. When we are children, the kids used to be given that shankha pushpa. When you eat the shankha pushpa, the semen goes to the nadi, they said, and they get brain to understand scriptures that they say. It looks like it's purple in color and it's so tasty to eat it. Shankha pushpa. So like that, it is very inconceivable to understand. So the Prabhupada is right. So sometimes, therefore, modern scientists consider the sun to be the original cause of creation. Not knowing the sun is the only medium for it, is also created by the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why one who understands that there is so much of energy going on all over the world, it's very easy to understand that there is Shaktiman. There is not that without the energetic, one energy cannot go on. Like a simple example, like Prabhupada used to show that we have electricity all over our house, and where is this electricity comes from? It comes from the main which is there attached to our house, and where from we get the main? We get from the transformer which is there just right to next to our, in India we have transformers every nook and corner. You can go, it's very dangerous, but you may, when devotees from West, they go in India, there are transformers everywhere, just like that it is there, outside. And the transformer gets the current supply from the substation, and the substation gets the energy, current supply from the main power station, which is a dam or a power project which is there many kilometers through the high tension wires which come through miles and miles away, and there is a power station, and in the power station, it's not that power station is acting on its own. So Prabhupada, there is an engineer who presses the button. Just by pressing the button, you get the current and you enjoy TV, tape recorder, everything, Prabhupada says. So the point is that one can easily understand that there is behind the powerhouse, there is an electrical engineer who presses the button. Because we don't see that's why Krishna says that matta parataram nanya kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam potam put sutre manigana aiva. A person cannot understand how a kid cannot understand how this flashing of lights from red to blue, red to yellow, yellow to green, how is this happening? One may think that it is just happening automatically. No, but there is a system being enacted by person who is pressing the button, and this red, white, yellow is happening. In the same way, we can't understand how all these pearls are strung. There is a thread to which all the strings are being attached. The same way, one cannot understand just by hearing a song. Just by hearing a song, one may buy the song, very nice, Sansara Da. It's very nice, it's just a song, but it's not a song. It is behind the song there is a Shruti, Laya, Tala, and behind the Shruti, Laya, Tala there is Raga. One cannot understand Shruti, Laya, Tala without understanding the Raga. There is a Raga. There is Kambhoja Raga. There is what is that? Kiravani Raga. There are so many Ragas. Every Raga, behind every Raga, there is Sapta Swaras. There are 7 Swaras. Maybe 7 Swaras. There is Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni. These are 7 swaras, and sometimes there are 2 swaras, there are 3 swaras, there are 4 swaras. So there are swaras. Unless and until the swaras, one understands the swaras, one cannot understand the music. Just like musical notation of C sharp, D sharp, F sharp. So one cannot understand what is the piano acts, how the guitar is played. So So one may think, oh, he is wearing very nicely, but behind that there is so much of science involved. So in the same way, if one wants to eager to understand the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the whole cosmic manifestation, how he has created, how the living entities go on, how how he has created, all these things, one has to become humble, and humbly one has to approach a spiritual master who makes him to understand. So by challenging, one cannot understand. Even coming to Krishna consciousness, one can get bewildered. There's so many devotees put forward so many videos on the YouTube, how I came out of Krishna consciousness, how I have 10 doubts of Hare Krishna religion, how I have these many doubts of ISKCON, how I have these so many devotees. They initially, that's why Krishna says samshayatma vinashyati. Unless and until these doubts are like the ghosts, these doubts are the witches, these doubts, unless and until one destroys the doubts of many aspects of Krishna consciousness by humbly asking devotees or the spiritual master, otherwise it is very easy to snap, very easy. So many devotees left Krishna consciousness. They get so much of disturbed because they are unable to comprehend. Of course, we are not asking about some devotees have even the basic very existence of Krishna, that there is a person called Krishna, he is controlling so many devotees who left Krishna consciousness. If I was hearing one person who left Krishna consciousness, he was verily having a doubt of whether Krishna exists or not. He was having full of doubts. The first question is that, and he was asking why Krishna, so many things. So the point is that one has to read the scriptures, understand it, ask it, and one has to be very much firm. One has to become thoughtful and honest, and otherwise it is very easy to get bewildered. So that's why in association of devotees, one has to be always protected and read the scriptures and hear them from authorized source. It is very easy to get bewildered. There are so many things on our phone. We may hear so many other things. So better to focus and get our things right in the initial stage. So when we are in the initial stages, all the doubts should be that's why to be a Kanishta for many years, it's not good. So one has to put his efforts to come to at least the stage of Kanishta Madhyama, or at least to the Madhyama stage, so that he can protect himself from the onslaught of the material existence. Otherwise, it is very easy to get bewildered. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So much things can be explained, but yeah. If you have anything to ask or any points to add, it was so opposite, but why? Oh, there's nothing. Oh, you can take this. You can take this. You take this. How will you answer? Okay. Is there anything to ask? No questions. Wow, thank you. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, ब्रह्मा जी की जय, ब्रह्म महत्व गोष्ठ वैष्णव संप्रदाय की जय. Wow. What is the question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, is it possible that the basic descriptions given in the Bible are really a summary or an indirect description of Lord Brahma?
What is the description indirect? I don't know what is the description of Brahmaji given in the Bible. Okay.
Well, the whole meaning of Genesis is like a desire for the population to expand, to increase the population, something that in the Vedas, like the work of the Prajapatis, is that possible, Prabhu? Surprising explanation of humility with tree with fruits. Similarly, devotees also seem poor, but they are very rich in spiritual path.
Okay. Yeah, I've not. Yeah, I don't know what is how the description of Genesis or Bible goes, but one thing is that there is a book. There are devotees. What is that? What is that? Okay, I was trying to explain that thing which he's trying to say, that there may be so many descriptions, like seemingly similar to the descriptions given in the Vedic scriptures in the Bible or Quran, but it is just to magnify that Vedic scriptures can give wholesome. Just like Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says so many things which are there in other scriptures and even in the scriptures, and there are so many things which Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita which is not there in so many other scriptures. Just like Prabhupada gave example of a small dictionary and a small pocket dictionary and the big Cambridge encyclopedia or this one. So whatever big dictionary or encyclopedia has, those all words, whatever the words are there in the pocket dictionary are there in the big dictionary or encyclopedia, but there are many meanings or words are there which we need to understand. So it's like the Vedic scriptures are the Vedic encyclopedia, and the Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic encyclopedia. So if one understands Bhagavatam, one can do research that this is similar, that is similar. So many devotees have done. There is a devotee called Rasamandal Prabhu. He has written Islam and Vedas, Bible and Vedas. The Rasamandal, he has released book. He releases book after book, and he gives me one book every year. Prabhu, I want you to give you one book. This is Islam and Vedas. I have not read Islam. I have not read Bible. Okay, so you may give to those devotees who are interested to do this. What is that? Interreligion, not interfaith, interreligion studies. To say what is that? What is that? Is comparative religion. That is called as. There is second session of they do in Salem. What is called as second session of science of SSR. They do. No. They do this. I forgot. They have this course. They have this in India called as. No. I've word. There is one word. I forgot that word. So I don't know. To make similarities between what science is saying, what religion is saying, what other scriptures are saying, one may do. But ultimately one has to come to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and then one has to surrender himself. That is not told in any of the scriptures. So that is told only in the Bhagavatam. So one has to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
One more question.
Oh boy.
When Brahma was chasing his daughter,
Okay.
it was mentioned in the Vedas that he gave up his body. What does that mean?
A cow has 4 legs and a horn. What does it mean? So it's like that. It is given. It is stated in the Bhagavatam that he was there and he had to give up his body. What does it mean? One has to give up his body. It is said that for the sin matra swastra duhitra va navivikta sano bhavet balavan indriya gramo vidwan sham api karshati. One should not sit beside one's daughter and one's mother in a secluded place. Even a person who is most learned, his mind gets bewildered. So the atonement for a person who commits this type of sin is one has to give up his body. That's all. This is the answer. And Brahmaji gave up the body, and that's all. That is in Bhagavatam it is stated. But actually, to say very clearly, Prabhupada was asked again and again about this question. Many times if you read the conversation, there is a morning walk I heard. Prabhupada was, don't ask too many questions about this topic. Prabhupada used to cut. That's all. He is our Acharya, and Prabhupada said this, he is our Acharya, and if Brahma could bewilder, what about us? So that's why Prabhupada used to cut. You should not. That's why Madhvacharya didn't even speak about Brahma Vima. How Brahmaji can be. So that's why. That's all. Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to add this one? Do this? Am I right? Okay.
The mental body. He gave up a mental body.
He get a mental body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mental body. He gave up so many mental bodies.
But gave a mental body, but
I think the mental state of mind.
yeah.
More than that, I think Prabhupada.
But even Prabhupada said that he, he's burn his body, something like that.
It turned into
Fog.
And then the demons used it to cover the sun from the.
Yeah.
And also he said that Brahma was like from another universe going in the world. But he said this Brahma was like he saw Krishna.
So many descriptions. That Brahma is not the Brahma, pure devotee. That Brahma, Prabhupada writes that he did this because he didn't hear Srimad Bhagavatam early in the morning. He didn't attend Bhagavatam class. You know that? I will read that. It is there, and actually that day when I prepared the Bhagavatam class of Shrunvata Shraddhaya Nityam, I found that Prabhupada says that this, of course I am explaining that he didn't attend morning Bhagavatam class in a very joking way, but Prabhupada writes that this Brahmaji did this activity before hearing the 4 verses of Bhagavatam. I am saying that he didn't hear the Bhagavatam class in the morning Bhagavatam class. Yeah, this we can expand into so much.
That one statement of Prabhupada, I thought the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam was spoken to Brahma at the time of creation.
That is what.
So how did he not hear it? Because it should have happened before he started creation.
No. Creation happens many times.
Right.
So it would have happened in a different period also. It's not the original creation when Brahma just came and then he was building it. It might be a different creation. There are so many creations. Like there is Pakshika Pralaya, so many Pralayas. Every day, every night there is Pralaya. So it might be in different time when Brahma would have heard these 4 shlokas of Bhagavatam.
I don't know the purport, but it says like it was a whole nother like Brahma and another like universe in that story.
Which Brahma? Which story?
The one about like him getting ordered by his daughter.
Again and again. Okay, that might be. That's all.
He heard, like you said, the creation. That was like the original creation.
Yeah, it might be another kalpa also, another creation. Yeah. Better to don't ask about that particular thing, daughter. So many things. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarupescha kripa sindhibhyo cha patitanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.